Hey guys, it's Tim from the Hybrid Network, and welcome to what is now the final episode of The Spotlight, at least for the moment. So, with that, I guess that there's no better time to tackle this subject that I've been throwing back and forth whether or not I do since I started doing this show. How seriously should we take the medium we love, comics? Now, before anyone in the comments gets defensive, I'm not trying to say this in a derogatory way. Obviously, I wouldn't be saying it on this channel if it was. I'm more so trying to focus on what are the limits to how strongly we should react to things inside of comics and comments pointed towards comics, as well as what's within the comics themselves, the content and how realistic we want things to be and what the line is. It's probably no news to anyone that within the comic book community there can be certain extreme reactions to things that people outside the comic book community might view as minor. And there's two ways to look at this. On the one hand, yes, it is somewhat of a more fantastic medium. I mean, it varies from comic to comic. It's not always going to be that way. But on the whole, especially with what comics are best known for, superhero fare, it's not the most, for lack of a better term, important thing to be focusing on. But the other way to look at it is something that I actually brought up in a previous spotlight I did. How the outside community views comics as somehow being less important than other things, like how they'll actively champion changes to comic book characters in alternate mediums, but any minor changes done to, say, a novel's adaptation or a remake of a film or a new version in a film's franchise are viewed as being something more worth getting upset about. And while there will always be people on the outside who view all these things as being things not to get worked up over, it's more so the way that it's viewed in comparison to one another. Another good example of this is how sports fans pretty much act the same way towards sports that we act towards comics, and yet no one really draws the comparison there. Basically, when you're passionate about something, you're going to react more strongly to things that are wrong with it than people who don't feel the same way about it. That's sort of a general, irrefutable blanket statement there. But again, with that, how far is too far in anything? Not maybe so specifically comics, but what is the cutoff point to when we should blur the lines between fantasy and reality? And what about comics themselves? I already did a video on realistic versus fantastic, but let's just focus on the realistic for right now. How close to reality should we make things in our fiction? Should we be trying to make everything an accurate representation of what's going on? Should we try to make it more escapism? What's the best blend to be found here, leaning towards one side or the other? There should be both in any case, but how far is too far trying to push something to be as realistic as possible? Well, like always, from there, I'm going to leave it up to you guys in the comments. From here, I just want to take the time to thank everyone who watched this show and who actively participated in the comments from week to week and who really put up with me somewhat rambling about these topics for 3 to 4 minutes and felt that it was worth commenting on. It means a lot to me. But like I said at the beginning, this is going to be the last episode of Spotlight, at least for the time being. We're going to be focusing on newer content for the new year of the Hybrid Network. So I'll see you guys in some of that in the future. So remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next project I'm in. Take care.